first thing when you start sales, then you have to do the hard job. You have to cold call, you have to walk into buildings, you have to go meet people where they are. But when you go on, you're consistent, your resilience, you go and building a network slowly by slowly, and never let your networks, a lot of sales guys lose it because they do what is called hit and run. You sell to a customer, the moment you close it, you disappear. But when you build the relationship with that customer, the chances of that customer is going to give you more business, or rather is going to refer you to other potential buyers, is very much high. And that's why even people who don't buy from me anymore, we still have relationship, we still meet for some coffee, of course, some beer back then, yes.
And what I'm getting from you is you invest time in each of these relationships because you never know down the line what comes into it, right?
Exactly.
If you can remind me, Freddie, what were the pricing back then, like for capacity?
Like there was a 32 to 64, if I remember, 32 kilobits. Bus turbo to 64, we were selling for 15K.
$15,000?
15,000 Kenya shilling.
Oh, 15,000
But it's 32
KB. Yeah.
Bus turbo to, actually, not that. It was 8 kilobits. Bus turbo to 16. That was going for 15K.
Today, is that enough to send an email even? I think one thing I learned from you that you do exceptionally well is you touch base with the customer. So you will get a commercial offer out to them.
Yes.
But then you'll call them, you'll tell them, let's meet for a beer. You'll do everything but talk business.
Yes.
So they buy into the person.
Exactly. So.
And then once in a while, you'll send an update.
Yes.
Hi, by the way, I know you're still reviewing the commercial offer. This is an update for iColo. You have a very nice way of curating a relationship.
Yeah.
Alafu unakuja
I think people buy from people they like.
So no one can buy from Faza.
I don't know what he said. So people buy into people they like. And I always learned that before somebody buys a product, they've actually bought into you. So whatever you are selling, then of course you have a good product. But first, you have to be that product that people see. So for me, creating and sustaining relationships, that's what I do all the time.
Now you see, this you get immersed in the conversation then. Yeah, Fred.
Yeah, it sounds around. You can, the environment.
Yes, you will just amplifies. 1 second. There we go. So really in amplify. Yeah. By the way, when we get a table, where will this sit? Because we can't stretch the headphones out that long.
Ama inaweza kukaa mahali kama hapa.
So you talk in your mic so we can hear you.
I'll already get quarter-inch extension cables.
Hey.
How's the microphone? Sounds good? We're happy?
You are professional. So,
yeah.
Mic check. Fred, you can hear me clearly?
Very clear.
There's no background sound. There's nothing. Even yours sounds very nice.
Yeah.
So, Fred.
Just 1 second.
Yes.
Do we want the fan on?
I'm okay. I don't need the fan on. Are you okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Fine. No fun.
Fred, just keep talking. Just do mic check.
Okay, mic check.
1 2 1 2 1 2. Just do that. 1 2 1 2.
1 2 1 2 1 2.
Yeah, it's not going in and out, so it's okay. Yeah. Freddie.
Yes, Sajid.
Welcome officially to Coffee Pump.
Asante sana.
Sasa kuna kijana.
Yes.
A few weeks back.
Yes.
He sent me a message.
Uh-huh.
This was on Patrick's. You know Patrick from Telegeography?
Yes, I do.
We had him on the podcast, and this gentleman by the name of Enoch_254.
Yes.
He said, "Hey Saj, great work on the pod. I'm trying to get into sales from what I've observed. Sound like you are a great salesman. Could you do a pod on just how to do sales?" So I thought,
yes,
why not I bring in the best sales guy I know, Mr. Rugo, who's won several awards for being in sales.
Yeah.
And he has a very interesting journey, guys. Maybe to give you guys a bit of context, I've worked with Rugo for how long now?
It's now in our 6th year.
6 years.
Yes, that's a
Hapana,
long
Freddy,
time.
it's not been 6
Miaka
years.
sita, bro.
Tumesota bana.
Tumesota.
No, but we've come such a long way. I think 2021 was your first year.
2021 March 1st. That's when I started.
I remember seeing you. You wore a suit. You were there. You were very quiet, and then we met each other.
We were not friends back then.
We were not
when
friends
I
back
came
then,
in,
yes.
You know, the guy in a suit.
Who's this Jama? Who's this Jama trading over here?
Yeah.
But fast forward 6 years, Fred and I have traveled across the continent together. We have done sales in different regions. There's a lot I've learned from Fred. He's a veteran. But one of the things is he has such an interesting story, very unique. And I think a lot of people, especially within the Kenyan Gen Z sphere, can learn from his life lessons. There's a lot of things I want to dive into. Fred's story, he's got a taste for music, but his passion for sales, his passion for family. And I think what we'll do is we'll go back to the very start, which is Nyandarua.
Yes.
Fred, tell me about the early days. Nyandarua. I remember going there. Baridi sana.
Baridi sana. You know that place, the home is called Tumaini.
Tumaini.
Tumaini means hope in English.
It means hope, eh?
Yeah, but when I was growing up, there was literally no hope in that place. You know, it was more like a bush. That place rained like hell. So it used to rain 24 hours. It was literally very cold. The roads were impassable. And I can tell you that there were no telephones. There was, you know, it was like the end of civilization. But it was a good background growing up. I can't complain because I am what I am because of that background.
We were at Nyandarua. You're saying this was the 70s.
This was the 70s and 80s.
Tell me more about your family structure. Was it a very large family?
We grew up in a very large family. If I remember, my father used to say in Kiswahili, yeye ni baba wa jamii isiyopangwa. As meaning it's an unplanned family.
Okay.
So my father had 2 wives and we were 18 children in total.
18 children.
18.
This is a football team with a manager.
2 football teams, bro.
Okay. How was it like being part of such a large family? Especially, and it's coming from a perspective of I come from a family with 3 kids.
Yeah.
Giving each kid enough attention, especially when they're like me, is a hard job.
Yes.
So 18 kids.
It was always very hard growing up. You know, when you are 18 of you and of course 2 mothers and of course mzee, you're talking of more than 20 people. So giving attention, you know, individual attention was very difficult. So a lot of times dad was also very busy. So we saw him once in a while. Then, of course, there was also the fight for resources. So I think it was standard for me to be chased away from school because of school fees. I think every term, maybe if I wasn't chased for like 3 times, I wouldn't feel like it's normal. So,
and that's because obviously the school fees had to be split between so many different
yeah,
children.
there were so many. At some point, we were 6 of us in high school. Now you can imagine how difficult it was for mzee and family to raise the necessary school fees.
And what was your lifestyle like as a kid? I mean, describe to me from when you wake up to when you get to bed. What were you doing?
When you used to wake up in Nyandarua, the first thing, of course, you know, we have cows. So wake up, go milk, then take the milk to the dairy before you can go to school.
Na unauza kwa dairy, ama?
Unapeleka, kuna mtu wa kupima, then KCC comes and picks it up. If they don't, you know, the roads were impassable. So sometimes we would take, you know, these donkey carts, and ride all the way for like 3-4 kilometers to a place called PI next to Ndondori on your way to Nakuru, just to deliver the milk so that the trucks can pick the milk from there. And a lot of times, because it would arrive late to the factory, it would return. It would be fermented milk. So that was what it was.
I remember you mentioning at one point in time, you were 13 when you first wore shoes.
Okay, temporarily I wore shoes when I was in Langalanga, which was Nakuru. That's where I started off my primary school. So I was there for standard 1, 2, 3, and 4. But subsequently then it was difficult. You know, there was no money to buy shoes or some of the luxuries that we have these days. So even eating chapati and nyama, that was in Christmas.
Oh, so what would you call most of the time?
Maize. white maize,
Ready.
boiled maize. Then there was warus, That's why they say Nyandarua
So,
is a place of waru.
Imagine if you and me went back in a time machine and we showed that young Rugo what me and you order for lunch when we go for business meetings these days.
Wait, bro. It's heaven.
By the way, Fred knows how I order as well.
Mm.
Whenever we go for a customer meeting, we over order because we enjoy with the customers.
Sajid, the life I live today is it's like heaven and earth. How far apart they are. So, Shags, there was nothing exciting about growing up. It was totally so difficult. It was even difficult for me to imagine how the future would be like. But I think there was that determination and the fact that I grew up around a mom who was very hardworking. My father was also very focused. So I'm well.
Education, was it instilled in you? Did your parents say, Rugo, you have to finish primary school, you have to finish secondary school, and we want you to go to university?
There was a lot of focus on education. And because then there was no way out of, let's call it poverty, unless you went through school. So, and my mom was very keen. One thing I remember about my late mom is that my mom went up to standard 6. But even when I was in secondary school, my mom would look at my reports. And I think she has an uncanny ability of, looking at your reports, telling you're doing well, you're not doing well. And I remember mom used to tell me, Fred, there is no boulder that is been kept over you. A boulder is a big rock that you can't rise up. And you have a very bright future, but you have to focus on education. So education was everything for us. And I'm very happy that education has taken us where we are right now.
And so you did primary school in Nakuru, which was was it a boarding school or
no, it was Langa Primary. So standard 1, 2, and 4.
Yes.
Then my mom took me to boarding in Eldama Ravine. It's in Baringo County.
How was that experience?
It's called Parole. It was a very nasty experience, bro. I was a small kid. I sometimes when they say don't do boarding for young kids, I really resonate with that very well because it was actually psychological torture for me. So I came out of it very poorly. So when my mom saw me once, she started crying. So then she changed me. So I went back to Nyandarua. Now the place you saw the school, Tumaini Primary School.
Tumaini Primary School.
So I did my standard 5 again, standard 6, standard 5 and 6. And then one of my favorite uncles, Uncle Jose, who is now passed on, came and took me and said, I want you to come and finish primary with me in Maua Primary. He was a teacher there. And so he tutored me and wanted the best for me. In fact, I remember him taking me for an interview at Starehe Boys. And I don't know how we got there. I don't know how we got into Dr. Griffin's office, but we did. And I was there and I got the interview. I passed the interview, but the marks they wanted, I didn't get.
So this was now for senior school, huh?
This was now for primary school, standard 7.
Why was boarding difficult? Was it just being away from family? Was it, I think was it called hazing in the things the kids do to each other?
Yeah, more of bullying. There was a lot of bullying. If you look at my size, I'm very small. You can imagine at that time how short I was. And I was a very small, timid, very quiet and timid young boy. So I'm not the noisemaker you see around. I was a very quiet boy growing up in my younger days, yeah.
I think the thing is boarding school as well. Whoever I've spoken to, I always thought I'd have opposing factors. Like some people say it's very nice, some people say it's very good, but the majority of people who I've talked to have gone to public boarding school. Some of them have had very, very rough.
I think for me worked well when I went now. So just to wheel back. So then I went to Jomo Kenyatta High School, which is in Subukia, Nakuru, for Form 1. I remember we didn't pay school fees. I think maybe by the end of the year, we had not paid even a quarter of the school fees, so I could not go back to that school. So my mom decided I was going to go to a school in Shags. That school did not have windows or doors. I think the floor was not cemented. It was, and then we used to have those desks you see in primary school back in Shags. So the total school population was less than 100, and there were only 4 classes. And
And-
so most of the teachers that used to teach us are actually untrained teachers, those who have finished high school and they're now going to university. So they would come for like 6 months and go. So we only had one permanent teacher who was also the deputy, actually two, the principal and the deputy principal.
Freddie, at this time, had you ever been to Nairobi? Had you been exposed to the city, or you weren't aware?
I came to Nairobi when I was in university.
Okay.
That's the first time. So I saw civilization then.
So somehow or the other, you did manage to complete high school, correct?
Yeah, so I finished Form 4. Luckily, the school where I was, I've told you about the background. It was a very small school, and normally the kind of students who would be taken to there are those ones that have actually been chased away from other schools, or students who have very bad marks. So they used to refer it to as Kajinga. Kajinga means mjinga.
Mjinga.
Yeah, so because the guys who would go there would just to wheel time, finish your Form 4, get your D and E, and that's that. So you go and start limaring waru. So I was among the best in Nyandarua the year I finished. And so I was accepted in Kagumo High School, which is now a national school. And when I finished Kagumo, then I joined campus, Egerton University in Joro, where I was for around 4 years.
And how was that campus university experience now from the life you've lived?
Life was totally different. I think life started becoming better in high school in Kagumo. That's why I started to believe, because Kagumo was, we had everything we wanted. So Kagumo was a very nice school. They were very much focused on education. So when I went to Egerton, there was a lot of freedom now. I was not used to freedom. There was money. We used to be given boom. It was called boom.
Boom inamaanisha nini?
It's like an expense which you unapewa kama loan, you pay after you finish school when you get work.
Okay.
But it was a lot of money back then, bro. It was too much money.
How much was it?
It was only 5,000, but 5,000 in the 90s, bro. It was
Ilikuwa
crazy.
pesa mzuri, eh?
Ilikuwa pesa mzuri.
And at that time, did you know what you wanted to do with your career? And so actually, before Fred answers,
Yeah.
my voice, can you hear a bit of an echo? I feel like it's echoing.
Echo.
Yeah, it's not as clear as yours. Or maybe it's
I
just
think
me.
mine
Maybe
is
it's
fine.
Yours
It's-
is
it's
perfect. Yours
you.
is perfect.
I don't know.
Mic check, mic check.
You're okay now. Or you're still hearing the echo.
No, Fred is Fred's is perfect, yeah?
Yeah.
How's mine?
is fine.
Even yours is fine. I'm not.
Mic check, mic check.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's okay, yeah? So
Yeah.
maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just my...
Yeah. So it's career.
Yeah, it's okay. We can put this in. People can see behind the scenes.
Mhm.
Vile
Yeah.
Faza-
By the way, behind the scenes.
Yes, Vile
Yeah.
Faza keeps touching buttons. Huko. Sasa career-wise, at that time, obviously, I'm assuming at the back of your mind, poverty and what you had gone through, you wanted as much as possible to distance yourself away from it.
That's true.
And career-wise, did you know where you wanted to move to, what you wanted to do at that time?
I would say I was a lost kid. I think growing up in the circumstances in which I grew, I didn't realize, I did not know what I wanted to become. In fact, even when I was called to do Bachelor of Education, I didn't choose Bachelor of Education. But when I was called there, I told my mom, I'm not going because I have not chosen this. And so my mom was like, you're now a hero in this town in the Nyandarua. And it was that time going to university was something. So you had a big name. So I decided to do teaching, but I was, until much later, I was
Teaching?
not sure. Yeah,
Fred, you became a teacher.
of course. I taught for 4 years in high school.
How amazing is that? The student who didn't like learning, you didn't like learning,
No, I didn't like learning. I didn't like
and he went
teaching.
through all that, he became a teacher.
Yeah.
How was that experience?
And then I taught for 4 years. Luckily, I hated and I enjoyed teaching at the same time.
What were you teaching?
I was teaching geography, business education, and history as well.
Amazing.
Yes.
I can see how, and I look at a lot of the engineers in our company who look to you for mentorship
Yes.
and how you coach them. I can see where that teacher DNA still lies in you.
Yes.
Even with me as well. You're very good at coaching and guiding, and I appreciate that. Okay, so you did 4 years as a teacher, and
Yeah.
at the time you realized,
And as much as I didn't like teaching, I started to love it, and I learned a lot of things. I think sales and and teaching are more of the same. You're dealing with a lot of people. You stand in front of a group of students, 300, 400 students. Then luckily, I managed to get into sports, and I managed to coach a soccer girls team. They were the first national secondary school soccer champions in 1997.
Amazing.
Yeah, so I won a few trophies while I was still teaching. And after the 4 years, I decided to go back to college. And by that time, I knew I wanted to do selling. And so I went back to college. I did a diploma in sales and sales management and another diploma in marketing. And
Okay.
that's how I landed in sales.
But what gave you the aspect for selling specifically? Was it something you saw? Was it just maybe something you read somewhere? Because at that time, like for me to get into sales was purely by luck. You know my story.
Yeah.
How did you stumble into it?
I had a Somali friend in campus. And so whenever we got boom, we would go and buy the perfumes back then were called Bintel Sudan. So we'd go to Nakuru and buy Bintel Sudan in small packaged, in some small bottles, some soaps and other things, and come and sell in campus. And I was like, hey,
Ulikuwa
like this.
unauza.
hey, pole pole, but I used to make some money, so it started becoming exciting. So at the time when I was in teaching and decided I wanted out, I was like, hey, I think I can try sales.
So you then pursue now a degree, diploma. in sa-
Two diplomas.
Two diplomas in sales and
Yes,
marketing.
yes.
What happens after that?
After that, by the time before I finished, I had friends in the teaching fraternity, and one of them, a senior principal, retired principal, actually heard of an opportunity at a company. It was a local franchise of a US company called Future Kids that was actually starting in Nairobi. And so they wanted somebody who had sales and also teaching background. And that's how I landed my first job.
And had you been to Nairobi before then?
Yes, when I was in campus, but maybe 3-4 times. It wasn't much.
And what was your experience like first stepping into Nairobi?
I tell you, I came to see my sister first. My sister was staying in Mathare North. You know where it is, where
Yes.
Kenya College of Accountancy is.
Yeah.
And the road was not dual the way it is today. And I remember I used to wake up, take breakfast, go to the road, just watch cars moving back and forth. That thing used to fascinate me, bro.
It's a different city, eh?
Yeah.
I can imagine. So now you've got this job. What was it specifically you were doing for them? What did the company do?
The company was selling computer programs. That means software, hardware, and training. We used to lease to schools.
Okay.
So we would have teachers who would go and we'd end up a school, put up the local area network, the computers, the laptops, everything is connected. Then we have integrated software programs, and then we have our teachers who would actually now teach. So we did that successfully. I think for the last 3 years I was there, I sold in Nairobi, I sold in Mount Kenya, I sold in Western.
So you were a traveling salesman,
I've always been a traveling salesperson.
going everywhere.
Everywhere, I tell you, my brother.
The first sale you made, how did you feel?
I can't tell you how I feel because I went off for 2 days. I didn't report to work for 2 days.
Ulikuwa na
I
celebrate, eh?
needed to cool off.
You get me, my first sale I made,
Yeah.
I remember Ranjo is like, congratulations. The customer disappeared one after 2 months. He didn't even sign up. So we would consider it a negative sale.
My friend, that I remember I went to a bar. And that's the first time I took enough beer, White Cups.
Yes.
And so White Cups have been with me for the last of 30 plus years.
In fact, that's an interesting conversation to have.
Yeah.
You always have let me frame it. You always have a warm white cup.
Yes.
Why is it warm? You upendi baridi?
When I don't like cold because also, I told you about my background. Growing up in a very cold place and then coming to Nairobi, and then the place is warm. The first thing is I had problems with weather, the challenge. There was a time I almost got pneumonia. So, and because I would take things from the fridge. So I decided to take warm and it stuck, and my White Cup stuck.
Have you ever tried a white cup, Faza?
I've not tried a white cup, but I've tried soda, and I cannot imagine having a warm drink.
It's interesting.
But
But
like,
it's part of culture. A lot of people have
It was,
warm white cups.
and you get used to it, and you get used to it, and it's totally okay.
but when you say warm, do you mean room temperature or like warm?
Room temperature.
Because I know there is a thing with where you actually have warm beer where they heat it
Not
up.
warm, not warm. Warm or hot will. It's actually room temperature.
Room temperature.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we considered warm.
Yes.
But beers normally people prefer having cold, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't know. I'm Muslim. I don't drink.
I think I was the unconventional one. I have always been the unconventional one when it comes to alcohol. So warm when they are taking cold. So
Fred used to be the white cap guy, but he gave up. You've given up white cap.
2 months ago, I think my body gave up on. I did not give up on the. It's actually my body. So I started to feel that it was not the right thing. You know, my body was kind of tired,
Fair
so I
enough.
needed to do something different. So it's 2 months now.
That's good. Congratulations. That's
Thank you.
And knowing you for 6 years now, that's knowing you that must be very difficult. So
Yeah.
I'm proud of you, bro.
Thank you.
So we've now achieved the first sale. We're selling. What happens then?
I continue selling.
And it was the same company, or
It's
you
the
moved
same
on?
company now. After 3 years, something tragic happened. They took me to Kakamega for a job, and I went there with my wife. Of course, my wife was working as a teacher, so I decided, and my employer back then said, no, we are going to pay you even for your wife so that you can go because you have a small kid. My firstborn daughter was 4 months. So we went to Kakamega, but the unfortunate happened. 2 months later, we lost the kid to cerebral malaria. So we had to
Sorry.
come back to Nairobi.
And that must have been very tough for you.
Of course, it was one of my lowest moments, but anyway, it's past now.
That actually, I think the same thing happened to my dad's brother,
Yeah.
my namesake.
Yeah.
He was in Garissa and something similar happened. And at the time, they didn't have the medical facilities to cater to that baby, and he passed
Yeah.
away. He must have been less than a year old.
Yeah.
And I think it was my dad's elder brother called Sajid. And that's how, when the family got together, they said the first boy in the family will be called Sajid after him.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay, so Fred, obviously you've gone through a traumatic experience.
yeah.
Did it affect work,
No.
or did you escape into work more?
I think I escaped into work. So when I came back, I decided to actually did not look for a job. So in the same compound where the company was, we had an ISP company. It's actually in Mombasa Road called Swift Global. And so the sales manager of Swift Global is called Sam Ndegwa, still a very good friend of mine. So he got me to go and work for it. And that's how I got to ISP.
And did you tell him at that time, like, because you're doing local area networks, but your understanding of connectivity was very basic?
It was zero, actually.
So they just took a chance on you.
They just took a chance on me because, of course, from where I was coming from, I was already now a top salesperson. So they took me in, and I did not disappoint because at the end of that year, I was actually runners up. And imagine I had joined in March. I started selling in April. At the end of that year, I was actually sales runners up. In the second 2 years, I was top sales. So
How was it like transitioning from education into now selling connectivity?
it was not difficult because I think the will was there. Like I told you, I always had that heart of a salesperson. So the only thing is that sales brought up something in me that I've not been. I told you, I was a very timid, very shy boy growing up. But now I'm this guy all over, talking to everyone, stopping guys in the street, selling to them. And
It gave you confidence,
yes, too much confidence.
especially cold calling and doing all
Yes.
those things.
Yes.
And what we're going to do is I want to ask Fred about sales tips as well, because Fred has a lot of strategies for up and coming sales folk. But I want to get through his journey because he has a very interesting journey. Swift at the time, Richard Bell was there. Was he part of the company?
Richard was part of the company. Richard Bell. There was also Mohammed Genebi. So Richard Bell, I worked with him for 1 year. Then he left to found KDN. And so we were together. Even when they founded KDN, I think we'll do the selling and KDN will do the implementation.
And at the time, how was commissions ilikuwa mzuri?
Ilikuwa mzuri. Back then we were not employed. We were actually commission agents. So if I got 200K, you'll only cut 5%. So and then we started with dial-ups. We migrated. Then the lease lines came via Telecom. We used to do lease lines. Then KDN did something that changed the market dynamics in telecoms. They brought in radios.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So
They were
then you
called WiMAX radios.
WiMAX.
And then we started to sell radios. And sell radios we did.
You guys, I remember this is the team. Was it the Swift Global team? You guys were everywhere.
No, it's Access Kenya.
Oh, it's Access Kenya eventually.
Yes.
Well, we'll get to that.
Yes.
So, if you can remind me, Freddie, what were the pricing back then, like for capacity?
Like there was a 32 to 64, if I remember, 32
Kilobit.
kilobits, bus turbo to 64. We were selling for 15K.
$15,000
15,000 Kenya shilling.
or 15,000
But it's 32
32
kilobits.
KB. Yeah.
Bus turbo 2. Actually, not that. It was 8 kilobits. Bus turbo to 16. That was going for 15K.
Today, is that enough to send an email even?
Today we are doing gigs, bro.
We were doing gigs, man.
Yes.
Like quite literally.
Yes. It was, and it used to work back then because you imagine guys are coming from dial-up, and now you're coming into dedicated connectivity. It would work. We would go and sell it in our office. In fact, in office blocks, we would set up, have our equipment in the MDF room, and then run cables to all those customers.
So how was the sales team structured at Swift? Did each of you have a certain segment, like Fred, you cover BFSI, this one covers enterprise? It was
No.
go and bring in
You
business.
go into the market, deep dive. You hunt, bring what you will bring.
Because you're new to the market, how did you get deals? Like, was it cold calling? And I mean, this is even a good question for someone who's new to sales in a new
Yes.
industry. Where do they start?
I think initially, until you build your network, you have to cold call. So I remember the company would get us directories, the Yellow Pages directory. So we would pick up contacts from there.
Can we
and
please
call.
put up those Yellow Pages over here? I haven't seen Yellow Pages in a long time.
Yeah. And then we would take numbers from there, literally call and make appointments for meetings. And of course, cold call was like everything because you've come in, you don't have a network. So where are you going to build the network from?
Did you guys have mobiles? WhatsApp wasn't even there that
The
time.
mobile phone had come back then. I think
It was like a
I
luxury.
had a cancel. Was it cancel?
Cancel,
line?
yeah.
Yeah, it was a cancel line, but you could only use it when you were calling for customers, because it was also very expensive.
Huku na LinkedIn, sijui Fred
Itoke
Rugo
wapi?
started-
Itoke wapi? Ni Yahoo na Gmail. And even that Yahoo Gmail, you would access it once in a week because you have no money to go and access it in a summer. It was very expensive.
And so you just started cold calling and attacking.
Yes, I started cold calls, attacking. Sometimes we would do walk-ins. Like we'd go into an office block, let's say like Hazina Towers. You go down there, you look at the people who are there, you decide, you walk from front to floor if the security allows. So it was basically the hard, difficult. And a lot of guys really get lost at that point. Anyone who wants to do sales, if you don't have power to do cold calls, to do walk-ins, then sales is not your job.
So for people getting into it, you'd recommend just practice, trial again.
Exactly. And the one thing that works and has built us is rejection. I think rejection is a second word for a salesperson. So out of 10 calls, you probably have like 6 rejections, but the 3 ones that you get, probably one of them or 2 of them is close, but they're actually worth it. So you tend to grow. One, you have to be very patient when you're doing sales. You have to be resilient. You have to be consistent, and you can't afford to give up. And like I said, you will get rejected time and time and time again.
Correct. And I think one thing I learned from you that you do exceptionally well is you touch base with the customer. So you'll get a commercial offer out to them.
Yes.
But then you'll call them, you'll tell them, let's meet for a beer. You'll do everything but talk business.
Yes.
So they buy into the person.
Exactly. So
And then once in a while, you'll send an update.
Yes.
Hi, by the way, I know you're still reviewing the commercial offer. This is an update for my iColo. You have a very nice way of curating a relationship.
Yeah.
Alafu unakuja
I think
unashika sales.
people buy from people they like. And
So no one can buy from Faza.
You know, I don't know what he said. So people buy into people they like, and I always learned that before somebody buys a product, they've actually bought into you. So whatever you are selling, then of course you have a good product. But first, you have to be that product that people see. So for me, creating and sustaining relationships, that's what I do all the time.
Now, how important is presentation as the way you dress when you're a sales guy at that time? Were you wearing suits? Did it matter that much?
I can tell you one thing. I think when I went to Access Kenya, there was this, my boss back then, and one of my favorite bosses, Chris Ananu. Chris would make sure that we buy suits, we get suits, we dress well. But I can say overall from selling, I've never been one to, look so very formal. But the fact that you've already sold yourself to the customer, it doesn't matter how you have to be dressed well. But I don't think that you have to wear suits all the time.
I remember once I'd gone with Ranjo, our former boss,
Yes.
for a meeting, and he told me, "You look like a fisherman."
Of course, it depends on the meetings.
And then he said, he asked me, "You don't have a suit?" I'm like, I have coats and stuff. He's like, "That's not a suit." And he took me to Diamond Plaza and he made me a suit.
It's true. Depends on who you are meeting. For example, if you're meeting, let's say, like the president, of course, you can't dress in jeans and T-shirt. That would be very crude.
Like this Jama behind the camera, shati yake inasema Diet Coke.
He's pointing at me, but you've seen how I dress.
This one will sell in Kibera and will sell in Nyamakima. Clothes in Nyamakima and Kamukunji.
I don't even know if that was a compliment or an insult.
Look at your T-shirt.
When you come for the podcast, wear a suit. You have to be formally dressed.
No, I think his kind of job defines how he dresses, so he's totally okay with
Creative people,
dressing,
isn't it?
No,
he's
I
creative.
have to dress nice and comfortable. I have to move around a lot of camera
exactly.
gear.
So
I have to have space to
he
move.
needs to have space. His clothes also need to give him space.
You can spot a creative person.
Such tells me
He
they come
looks
for a
like
live
it,
stream with a gimbal and wear suit pants. I can't even bend my knee.
So Freddy,
Yeah.
now you've umeanza kazi in the internet industry.
Yes.
Obviously, the bug has got you. You're enjoying it. You're making a lot of sales.
Yes.
Where do you move on from there?
Now, 2006, I remember flying to Dubai. That's the first time I flew to Dubai. One of the many that I think we've had many of flights with you. And thanks for sale. I'm actually in sales. I'm actually happy that I'm actually on my that passport. So I'm well traveled.
Yes.
And that's sales. So when I came back, Chris called me. And there was our head of sales back then at Access was called Anjaim. They met me at Norfolk and said, we want to offer you a job at Access Kenya. So I went to Access Kenya and I sold connectivity again there for almost 7 years, 6.5 years.
How did they know about you? Like recruiters just did research and found you?
Of course, I was a big name back then.
And this trip to Dubai, see, it was something you won.
Yes, it's something I won because I was best salesperson for Swift Global in 2005. Yeah, so I won that trip. So I went for the trip. So by the time I was coming, Chris and team already knew that we need this guy. So they came for me literally.
And one thing that you guys may not know about Fred, but Fred has never interviewed for a role. He's never gone out of his way. People have always sought for him.
Yeah, that's
your career, right?
That's a good thing when you're a good salesperson.
When you're selling.
You're a good salesperson. So when I left Swift, I went to JTL. It's a sister company called AdNet.
Actually, before we go to JTL, tell me about Senanu's team, because you guys were fucking killers. That's those sales guys from the stories I hear. You guys made so much money. You cornered the market. Yani, you cleaned town. Tell me about Senanu and tell me about that experience working there.
I think it was something about Chris. Chris had a way with choosing the best guys. And he chose guys who could work together and form a team. And what he used to do is get people with different strengths. So we'd complement one another. And I can tell you, Access was a family. We grew. We made money.
Access Kenya was
crazy
very close.
money. Yes, it was actually family. Even today, we have a group. We have a group of former Access Kenya guys. I think we are like 300 of us. We've now formed a welfare where we have 200 plus. So we're still as close as we were back then.
One of my favorite stories from you, from Chris Senanu, I won't give any names, but
Yes.
this story really stuck with me. there was a HR manager at the time,
Yes.
and she was complaining about a certain individual in sales.
Yes.
And she told Chris, this guy is always drunk. He comes here, he's always late. He does this, he does that. We have to get rid of him. So again, I'm narrating Fred's story.
Yeah.
So Chris pulls the HR manager, she pulls the
It
team.
was actually a sales manager.
A sales manager.
Of a particular sector.
In fact, why am I telling the story? Fred, you tell the story.
Yeah. I won't mention the name of the sales manager, but that manager had a team. And one of the guys in the team was very good with the bottle. So he would disappear for like 3 days. But when he came back to the office, he had like 3 or 4 contracts. So one time, the manager went complaining to Chris and like, this guy is not performing. This guy, he rarely picks my phone. He's always in the bar. And then so Chris did a table for that lady and all the salespeople under that. And they realized the guy with the numbers, it is this guy who comes drunk. And so Chris said, came up to our meeting and said, I don't care. Sales guys can escape with murder.
Correct.
Yes.
So it's the guy she was claiming drunk was the guy with the highest sales. So Chris was like, you want to fire this guy who's bringing in all the money?
It's the numbers.
It's the numbers.
And sales is actually the numbers. That's all that matters, yes.
That's what I'm telling you. When you're a good sales guy,
yes,
you can get away with anything. So Chris eventually moved on, right?
So they sold the company. Jonathan and David decided to sell the company.
This was Salesman.
Yeah, they sold the company to IAS. First, it was publicly listed, then they sold it to IAS, Internet Solutions. And so I think a lot of things changed. So most of us, the old folks, started to look for jobs and started to go out. Of course, I got picked by another company. I worked there. Then after that, I saw an opportunity to sell again, but now land, real estate.
Ati ulikuwa unaanza land?
So I went to work as an operations and business development manager for one of the top politicians in the country from Murang'a. I won't mention their names.
People can guess.
Yes, and so we were managing estates. There was coffee.
And how was it like compared to selling internet? Was it a longer sales cycle for properties and land?
Yes, it was a very long sales cycle. I think much longer but more exciting.
Really?
Yes, but in land there is a lot of politics, and so it's not a place if you're not strong-hearted, it's not a place you want to last. So,
by the way,
I decided to come back to connectivity, and that's how I found myself back to Wananchi, Simbanet Wananchi.
Fred has worked everywhere, man. You name a company in the connectivity sphere has worked there.
Yeah.
Is that where you got the bug for buying land? Because even you started making me buy land.
Exactly.
We are proud owners of land in random places in Kenya.
A lot of places in Kenya.
Fred calls me, kuna hii town inaitwa sijui.
Yes.
Nataka land. I'm like, unanunua? He's like, tununue shamba.
Yeah.
So me and Fred own several plots.
We are landowners.
Landowners.
I think in several parts of the country. And
where was the last place we bought?
Nanyuki. Somewhere close to Olpejeta Ranch, Nanyuki.
So we'll build a studio over there. Umesikia? If you behave. Faza, why do you look confused?
Mike is backwards. Sorry. Do you know UIP?
Why?
UIP.
UIP stands for?
It's one of these guys. They sell land and whatever.
Oh, UIP.
And
UAP, there is UAP, which is the insurance company. I'm not sure about UIP.
UIP, they sell like kind of like this, like plots of land. Like they buy a giant segment, then they sell off quarter.
Actually, that's what me and Sajid used to do. So we would go to land buying companies. They buy like, let's say 200 acres, and then they subdivide into plots of 1 acre, 50 by 100, a quarter, and then we go and buy based on how I finance.
That's what we also do.
Oh,
What do you mean?
That, eh?
Mom bought for me and Hamza a couple.
In Pakistan, no?
No, here. Same thing. Like there's 100 by 100. There's a quarter acre.
It is not on the border between Afghanistan and Pakistan.
Wait, fuck you. What?
Okay, so whereabouts did you buy?
I even same with me. I don't know. Mommy just buys.
Your voice is coming in and out.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. No, see, the same thing. Like they just post there's something. We get money together. We buy once in a while. Just buy like a little 100 by 100 or this by that, whatever.
Yeah.
But so with land, long term is very good.
Yes.
I think where I get worried is if I'm in a pinch and I need cash immediately, land may not always,
It won't help
it
actually,
won't help.
because it probably takes like 6 months, 1 year to get disposed of. So I think after some time, also after buying so many of those lands, I decided to balance myself out. And so I stopped buying land and now I started investing in stocks and shares.
Okay.
That's what I do, yeah.
But Freddie, like when you say stocks and shares, are you internationally investing or locally in the local
No,
market?
currently I'm doing just local.
Any stocks that you'd recommend? Like even me, I'm looking to invest.
There are a lot of them.
Safaricom, Mama.
No, Safaricom is one of them.
Can we give tips to younger
But I've
people?
done to DTB, I've done KCB, I've done Kenya US recently because of course they're looking at a strategic partner to buy Kenya Airways. So
Do you think Emirates will step in and buy them? I think there's a possibility.
there is a possibility they will get a strategic buyer. So sometimes when you're buying stock, you just don't buy for the sake of buying. So you have to go there and do your background study.
And you
How-
buy through a broker, or like the brokerage firm, or how does it work on an app?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
There is an app and there is a broker. So
To-
sometimes we have also advisors, financial advisors from that particular app, which is the investment banks. So they give you advice on what to buy, what to sell. So you buy, some you sell, dispose of.
What do you think of T-bills?
They're also very good.
Very good.
And bonds as well.
What's the interest rate right now on them? 13%, 12% return.
It's I think 13%. But there was a time, I can't remember one, where they were doing 18% and it was
18%.
yeah, Gava. And it was it was good. Because you see, if you have, let's say, like 1 million or 2 million, then you put it in there. So that means you have everything. You have something at the end of every year. And it's good money.
Okay, that's something I'd consider. We'll talk offline about
Okay.
it. Sasa, back to your journey, Freddie. So you left from Swift, you went to
Adnet,
Adnet.
JTL. Then I come back to Wananchi.
JTL, how was that? It was one or 2 years.
Yeah, 1 or 2 years. Yeah, that we were selling. Was a GM back then, so we were doing now everything. A stock and barrel, anything ICT.
Okay.
We'll do CCTV, access control, local area network, wide area network, security, hardware, everything, software integration.
Oh, so JTL used to do a lot back then, huh?
Yes, it was a lot of work. I think they had different companies that used to do different things, and they were all If you remember Adtel Adondo, that is JTL. So there was AdWest, there was Adnet, so I was in Adnet.
Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yes.
Sasa ukarudi Wananchi.
Nikarudi Wananchi.
And Wananchi, now you came back as a sales manager.
Yes, I came as a sales manager in charge of SMEs channels there.
And how? Yeah, in fact, that's where you know a lot of people. Was Jackie with us? But was Jackie with you back then in Wananchi?
No, she had already left, I think.
Okay, but there were a lot.
But I know her from way back. Having started, I think in sales in 2000. By that time, 2016, you actually know a lot of people.
And how was your experience like in Wananchi?
Wananchi was great. I made good numbers. And one of the person who came then and became a GM in Wananchi in Simbanet was Geoffrey Shimanyula, a very good friend of mine.
Shim is honestly, I met him. The guy seems like a legend. Honestly.
Bro, that guy is a legend.
He's a if he was a salesman boss,
He's
that's
a
the guy you want.
consummate sales
Professional.
Professional. So we recently met him at the KIXP event in Carnival, and he still looks very healthy.
The thing is, there's such a difference between having a boss that's a sales guy and having a boss that's a finance man.
Yeah. Those are two totally different.
Yeah. Which one do you prefer?
Somebody who has a sales background.
Agreed.
Yes.
I think having a sales background is quite profound.
It is always profound because you understand how sales pan out.
And actually, our former boss, man,
hey, Ranjit. Hey. Yes, then there was Ranjit. I think after Wananchi, then Liquid.
Yeah, so in fact, at Liquid, how was your experience there?
Liquid was, it had different management. So in terms of performance, I was top there.
Yeah.
Like I've always been. So I was top there.
And what were you selling at the time?
We were doing basically selling connectivity, but we were doing wholesale. So we were selling in bulks. So I would sell like 10 gig, 5 gig, That's what you used to sell.
And you'd sell to ISPs mostly?
Yes, mainly ISPs.
And I'm assuming at that time your contacts, your networks had increased quite a lot. So you're just leveraging off on
Of course,
that.
now I had built a large profile of customers and relationships. So, like even I have now. So I was not struggling as much as when I started. So, and that's why when you ask sales, the first thing when you start sales, then you have to do the hard job. You have to cold call. You have to walk into buildings. You have to go meet people where they are. But when you go on, you're consistent, your resilience, you go and building a network slowly by slowly, and never let your networks. A lot of sales guys lose it because they do what is called hit and run. You sell to a customer, the moment you close it, you disappear. But when you build the relationship with that customer, the chances of that customer is going to give you more business, or rather is going to refer you to other potential buyers, is very much high. And that's why even people who don't buy from me anymore, we still have relationship. We still meet for some coffee, of course, some beer back then, yes.
And what I'm getting from you is you invest time in each of these relationships because you never know down the line what comes into it, right?
Exactly.
So eventually now from connectivity, you transition into co-location data center selling.
Yes.
How was that shift for you?
It was a bit of a radical shift. It was a very radical shift because you understand the data center space. It's like selling kokoto. You're positioned into a customer today, then you'll actually close in 3 years.
Yeah.
Not that you close in 6 years.
We'll bleep the name of the bank we closed, yeah? But
Yeah.
that took 6 years, yeah.
That took 6 years.
Yeah.
So it's long term. But again, I think, when you build a network of customers, then it becomes much easier. So when I joined in, it was, of course, the first 3 months was like, hey, am I sure I want to do this? But I think right now I'm in the right place at the right time. And of course, working with a great team and, growing up and being mentored by somebody like Ranjit Cheriko, that guy was a different
Next level,
person.
huh?
He was he's actually arguably maybe the one of the top best seniors that I've ever worked with.
I think I just don't know how to describe him for people that haven't worked with him, but he is a subject matter expert on all subjects. And he's better than you at everything.
And it was very surprising that this guy is good in finance. You'll see him in marketing. You'll see him in operations. You see him in sales, and he's actually best. He's like directing everything. He's very good in everything, all rounded. And there are very few of us, Sajid, who are actually around. You are good in sales. You are not good in anything else.
Thank you.
Yes.
There's also me and Fred can't do accounts.
Yes.
I hate accounts. Like, where's our commission in this?
Yes, where is our numbers?
We don't want to see anything else.
We want to see what is coming to the bank.
Please, don't bother us with anything
Don't waste our time.
With the other thing is, I remember in that working atmosphere,
yes,
like anything you need help with. For example, if you're negotiating a very tough contract, boss, what's up? Approve, do this, do that. And I think maintaining that fluidity of a small team was one of our advantages because we really closed a lot of sales.
There was something beautiful about that small team.
Yeah.
And there was something beautiful about having somebody like Ranjit at the top of that small team. And I remember, like you said, Ranjit would be sitting somewhere in Germany and you have this big customer that wants this and these concessions. And Ranjit just asks you a few questions, a few probing questions, and you say, no, give them this one remove, give them this, and you close. And that's how simple it was. And so we made great sales in the last 5 years plus.
I'm telling you, the fact that we are full, other people have taken advantage of that. But Fred and I, we were fucking cornering this market. It's not hubris. It's fact.
We were good. We are still good. We're just waiting for some data center to open up.
Zaidi nimechoka Fred.
Tunangoja tu Nairobi tu you open up. you see, we are like, we are not doing, because there is a data center very key to us. And when that data center opens, then we go back.
This is a warning to other data centers.
Yes.
We are waiting. Actually, as soon as that data center opens up,
We are coming for your cake.
We're hunters, please, okay?
And we are not just picking, we are not taking a piece of that cake. We are taking the whole cake.
And Fred is not coming with a small pistol. Fred anakuja na bazooka. Mi nakuja
Yes.
na nuclear bomb.
No, I'll come with a Kalashnikov.
Kalashnikov.
Yes.
Tunakuja,
We will bomb the whole place.
And so I think the data center industry is obviously the right place.
Yeah.
Do you think for you long-term data center sales is where the future is? Because obviously you've worked in ICT industry, you've worked in the connectivity, you've done a bit of cloud.
Yeah.
What's your take on data center in the future?
I think for the foreseeable future, unless another technology comes up, I think everything is actually in data and storage. And that's where we are. Because if you look at your phone today, how much do you save on your phone? It's basically everything, videos, So all that information needs to sit somewhere, and that's where the data centers come. And so conversations, communication is everything about the data centers.
I agree. And maybe a more personal question. How is it like been working with Sajid? 6 years. Let's describe.
Yeah. Let me explain how we started off. When I came to iColo, we were people from different cultures, different backgrounds. I had worked differently, and Sajid was differently. We were like a mix and match. Totally so different, like oil and water. But I think a few months later, we found our mojo, and today we are best of friends. I normally say we are not even workmates. We are actually now brothers, because anything happens in Sajid's life, I know. Anything happens in my life, he knows. He knows my family, I know his family. And so we've just become more than just friends. We're actually brother. So we call ourselves Brother Kaka. That's what we do.
I appreciate
Yes.
that. So I'm saying it's a dynamic duo. It's a very powerful duo.
Yes. And again, Sajid, one thing I like about Sajid is that we complement one another very well. So Sajid is not an early person. I'm the guy who... Yes, he's not. This one, he's not an early person. So morning meetings, I do very well, because I'll be up by 5:30, 4:30, 5:30. And Sajid is the guy who will work until midnight. So if you have customers that need to have dinner with at 8 at night, that's Sajid. If we have customers that are coming for a data center too at 7:30, now that's me. That's how we work.
Fred basically covers the morning shift, me I cover the night shift.
Yes.
I think Fred tells me sometimes he's sleeping, he just hears the emails going off.
He's a
2, 3 in the
night
morning.
owl. At 3 p.m., 3 a.m., someone is sending emails. I've slept several hours already.
But it's and I think that's important, especially as a sales team.
Yeah.
No man is an island. You can't survive on your own. You genuinely have to find camaraderie within your team, and then you strengthen it. And I think one thing,
Yes.
for those that are not aware, like the sales director role came to me as a surprise, if you remember.
Yeah.
Because it's just Ranjit took me one day, and then I told you, Fred, but this guy's promoting me. And Fred told me,
No, I actually
yes.
I actually suggested it to him, and I told him, instead of getting somebody from outside, we are already working together very well with this gentleman. So, and he's been with you since the start. So why don't you give them the job, and then I'll support him. And that's what happened. And he took the job. You've ran with it. You're doing very well. And one of the biggest advantage I have working with you is that you're very good with presentations. You're totally so very good with presentations, and I'm very good with the back end. So both of us know where.
Yeah, it's like a 1-2 punch.
Exactly.
Tunaingia tunafanya hivyo.
Mike Tyson style.
Mike Tyson style.
Yes.
And that's what I'm saying is, if you're a new sales guy, sometimes as a duo it works better.
Yes.
Collaborate, and you have
Going for meetings
going for
together.
meetings.
Yeah, and I always say that when you're starting off in sales, the best thing is look for somebody who is more experienced, and you start going with them for meetings, because that's also so you can realize, you can see how they handle objections, how they talk to potential customers, how they introduce themselves, how they handle customer objections, how they close the sale,
Yeah.
and then you learn from them, and from there, then you can actually take over.
I think right now what we've also done is we've curated a very strong team. The sales team in a way we work in iColo is very small.
Yes.
But we have heavy hitters. We have people, if we were an army, would be very strong. We have the support of Vivian, we have Anton, we have Fred, we're here. And obviously with the support from the company as well, we're able to do things quite well. But one thing I'd say is, for me, my priority is my team first.
Yes.
If I
You're
can
ve-
take care of my team can take care of the company goals
Yes.
and can take care and cover for me meetings at 9 in the morning.
And and you're very good at that.
But we balance each other, and it's important to complement each other's and recognize each other's strengths. And I think there's early on, I will say there was a competitive element, right?
Yes.
You have the competitive element, but it
Yes.
also, you have to realize if the company sets a goal, we have to figure out how to work collectively together to achieve
Yes.
that goal. And so we leverage of our strengths. And
Yeah.
Fred and I are very well aware of each other's strengths. And it's something that 100% I'd recommend salespeople to do, is just leverage your strengths. Not everyone is the same.
Yeah. And even sales team as well, for managers of sales team, it's going to actually look at what each of your salespeople is strong at and try to build that, because not all of them will be good in everything. So some are very good at closing, but they're not very good at intros to customers.
Fred, and how do you, maybe it's now this is more sales specific questions.
Yes.
Obviously, if you don't have a CRM, and we're now having a new CRM, but sorry, what's up?
So, okay, for people who don't watch, you guys have used some abbreviations, CRM, T-bills. There's another one earlier. I don't remember.
CRM is customer relationship management tool.
Yeah, customer relationship
So,
manager.
if you use some of those, maybe you can.
It's actually a tool for managing, customers. That's what it's called, a CRM tool.
That's what you wanted to know.
Because through the conversation, there've been a few that have popped up. We
Yeah.
just have the editors put it. But if you could, if you use an abbreviation, just say what it is.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Salesforce is also for sales. It's actually a system that allows you to manage the sales process from the start to when you close. That's what is called Salesforce. So it's actually a system.
And before that, like, for example, for someone who's just starting off who doesn't have access to that, how do you recommend maintaining a pipeline, creating a pipeline? Because it's also, you can't just sell to this one and then forget.
Yeah.
For an up and coming sales guy who doesn't maybe have that CRM that reminds them to sell, what were the tactics you would use?
Sajid, me and you started off on an Excel sheet. Yeah? So until now, when we have Salesforce, so you just maintain an Excel sheet. The one thing I do is I always have a notebook. Whenever I'm having conversations with potential customers, the first thing I take is the customer contacts. And so I note them down and then what we discussed. And so I write that, I come and put it on my laptop. I put that information. Of course, then I have an Excel where I put all the contacts plus remarks. So that means I'm always consistent. I always know who I talk to, what we discussed, where we are headed. And especially for a salesperson, you cannot afford to work ad hoc. You have to have a pipeline. And you have to be very consistent with that pipeline. It is not the kind of you just send a proposal and then you forget. Of course, when you forget, then somebody from the competition will take up that customer and sell to them.
So maybe you could describe to someone your typical day as a sales guy. What do you do the first thing you get up?
Of course, as a normal person, let's start from sales comes later.
Yes.
So when I wake up, of course, the first thing I do is pray. Of course, then the second thing, I'm very good. I watch international news, Al Jazeera, CNN. I watch sports. Then from around 7, I check my emails. So I'll see which emails I need to respond to. From around 8, I'm making calls. And you really, for senior executives, please make your calls between 7:30 and 8. After that, they are very busy. Then after that, you can talk to sales managers, CIOs, and others. So then you plan your day, then you make the earliest calls, the follow-up calls, the intro calls. Then after that, then you can plan to go for meetings. Yes.
I think the difference I noted when being promoted to sales director was the admin side of things.
Yes.
There's just, and it's something I still haven't gotten used to, and
Yes.
you know that. Even though you say I excel at it, it's
Yes.
something that just, it bothers me. But what I like doing is because you leave the later part of your day
Yes.
to do then the relationship, the networking,
Exactly.
the admin stuff. But even
I think that's what you do at night, and that comes off very well when you do it at night, because then you have less distractions. You just yourself in the house, so that
Correct.
you can do much well. But during the day, just focus on doing.
Especially when you get up and you have that focus energy.
Yes.
You sort of do it doing complicated tasks.
Exactly. Yes.
Because then in the evening you sort of then go into autopilot mode and then you do the admin stuff in the back end.
Yes.
Fred, also now on the personal side of things, I want to talk a bit. We've covered a lot about sales. We've
Yeah.
covered a lot about your journey.
Yeah.
You're also a musician. Can we talk about that?
Yes.
Because I saw some very interesting videos of you singing.
Yeah, I perform. I've been in music since when I was in college, but when I went to teaching, I forgot about it, and my first years of sales were a bit, and that was also when I was starting off with family, so my time was taken. But now I'm a bit freer. Whenever I'm not doing my sales job over the weekends, I will go and perform. I'm also an MC. I'm also a counselor. I've also sat in boards of very many schools before, but now I think I've left that and I'm just doing a bit of music here and there, and hope to do some recording soon. I have some guitars in the house. I have an acoustic guitar, I have a rhythm guitar, I have a solo guitar, I have a keyboard. So soon you'll be hearing some recordings from me.
CD bana, okay.
Mm.
The other thing is, Fred, I wanted to compliment you on was the way you approach your role in the family and how you take care of them.
Yeah.
Because we've had this conversation severally
Yes.
offline.
Yes.
Where growing up, typically in the culture you were brought up in, when you turn 18,
Yes.
you go and fend for yourself.
Of
You're
course.
kicked out of the house.
Yeah.
But you're taking it a very different approach with your family.
It has to be different because back then, of course, like I told you, the culture then was very different, and of course, some of the things I missed is having those personalized, attention from your parents because we were so many. So today, I've made a very personal decision that I'm very much involved in my kids' life. I'm the ever-present father. I will always be with them. In weekends when I'm not working, I'm actually with them. If I'm going to a place, they are there as well. So we are very close, and so we have like a brother sister kind of relationship. Yes.
Which is good because, again, you it gives your children the ability to experience different things, test out their limits,
Yeah.
because they sort of have the comfort and knowledge that dad is there.
Yeah.
Because imagine now you're 18, you're kicked out. You can't really explore and do different things and touch your artistic side because you have to pay the rent. You have to find food to
That's
eat.
true. So
You know?
my kijana is 22. Today he drives my big car. So
He drives you around.
Yes, if I'm going around now, I don't drive. He drives. So you have to give your children that flexibility.
He's 22. How old are you?
26.
And you can't even drive me around. Ana driving license, Jama.
Kijana drives my Prado. My 22-year-old boy. So
Listen, when I hired you on the contract, it said driver/producer
Slash
slash
everything else.
everything else. Any other role I can think of.
yes.
But Kijana, what's he planning on doing right now?
I think all my children are doing IT. And I think they've taken after me, though I've done IT sales for the last 27 years. But so for them, they used to see me come with gadgets. They're always IT gadgets, or I would buy them computers, small computers. So they're always playing with gadgets. So right now, all of them are in IT, and they're very comfortable. But they're not customer facing. The guys behind the laptops.
Would you recommend your children ever get into sales?
None of them wants to do sales. They like the money. Of course, they enjoy the money. But none of them want to do sales.
If you were to go back in time, Freddie, would you do anything else if it wasn't for sales?
I don't think I would do anything else because that's what I've done all my life. And maybe, and look at it this way. Anything you do has an element of sales. Everything you do, there's an element of sales. So why wouldn't I take the fine one, which is sales itself, and do it well?
The final form of sales. It's very rewarding.
Yeah.
It's an up and down.
But it's also very punishing.
Very punishing.
It's very punishing.
We get used to rejection a lot.
9 out of 10 is no. And so who told you to call us? Who told you we are even interested in what you're selling?
And maybe one of the things to talk about is, let's say, conversion rates.
Yes.
Right? Because in the data center, if we have a pipeline of 100 people, maybe 10% or less will convert.
Yeah.
So how would you approach it? Do you keep adding to the pipeline, or do Do you select quality leads, or is it just a numbers game at the end of it?
Even when you select quality leads, the pipeline will always remain the same. It's actually a funnel. So it's what you put in. So the idea is to have as many into the top of the funnel. Then you narrow down the small ones that come. So you qualify them as you deal with them. Because the whole idea is just get as many as possible. Then you, of course, you have to have quality leads. Please qualify them when you're starting. But at the end of the day, just have a big pipeline.
You know, the way I look at sales is, well, it's not really a game of chance, but have you seen that game, Fazza? I'm not sure if we can put it up on the screen, but it's got different slots, and then there's a bunch of coins that get dropped. And there are different obstacles it goes through, and some land in green, some land in red.
Yes.
And that's the way I look at sales. It's a numbers game. You can do a lot of things with a qualitative lead, but it will end up here.
It will end up in the same
And the
place.
lead you didn't expect on that end will end up in the green.
That's why I'm saying sometimes, even as good as we are in qualifying, sometimes we misjudge the customer. And then you find the customer who you did not expect to close is actually who closes. So what I've always told my guys, please never ignore your pipeline in terms of who you are talking to. And do not say, oh, this one will not buy. There is nothing like this one will not buy. Because at the end of the day, the guys we chased over the guys who actually do the purchase.
Correct.
Yeah.
Fred, we've talked a lot. We've talked about your journey.
Yes.
We're going to clip the shit out of this thing. We're going to do a lot of reels.
Yeah.
Yes, you have a question? It seems like Fazza has a question.
Okay.
Because it feels like you're winding down. Before you do, I do have some questions, actually.
Yes.
I feel even the viewers will enjoy.
Okay.
So the first one, not exactly sales related, but data and networking adjacent. Because this has been brought up in the pod a couple of times. Why is it that Kenya, even early on, was very pro connectivity? Lots of data centers, fiber cables. Meanwhile, our neighbors at the time weren't that into it. Because I'm looking at it as, obviously there's government involvement, right? Do you know, or why do you think that the government was very open to infrastructure, cables, fiber, data centers, connectivity being such a big part of our country at that time?
I think it was not the government. It was actually individuals. If you look at it, for example, when we came to the first fiber that landed in 2007, we had back then we had a very proactive PS called Bitangen Demo and Mutai Kagwa, who was the minister there. The guys who went and made sure that the cable came here. So we have guys who are very learned in Kenya and guys who know what the country needs. And those are the kinds of guys that make decision. For example, the M-Pesa, that was just someone's decision to bring M-Pesa. And you can see how it revolutionized the industry.
Correct.
So the fiber as well. So it's actually, we have very forward-looking Kenyans that are actually always looking out for the best for this country. And then, of course, the government follows suit.
Okay, fair enough. Next question. This one is in relation to how many jobs you've had. When, for most of them, is it like opportunities came and then you decided to move, or is it you were in a position of, I've done this for long enough, I want to look for something else, and then you took up those opportunities?
Good questions. I'm finding research.
For all the opportunities, actually, most of the initial opportunities is an opportunity would come. And they were always looking for someone and like, Rugo, come. We want you on board. We think you can add value to us. But the very last one, I'm the one that went looking for that job.
Let me ask you, Freddie, have you done in the past few years, obviously I see people still approach you.
Yes.
Even recently, at
Yeah,
Cafe,
of course.
an interview. And then he told in front of the interview, he's like, that's my boss. I'm going to say no to you eventually because I'm going back to him. But just entertain me.
Of course.
A lot of people approach you, right?
Even today, it still happens. So when you're good in what you do, you will always have people approaching you. But at the end of the day, you have to decide, what do I want in life? And for me, right now, what I want is stability. So I'm very stable where I am. And so you just don't move because somebody has said move. You move because where you are moving, it's actually working in your interest. Same as their interest as well.
There's another one.
Yes.
This, I think, for both of you.
Yeah.
Let's say you have a prospective client you've been chasing and you can feel they're getting cold. How do you go about either convincing them to agree, or if you feel like the the sale won't go through, how do you go about finding another client while still, as you said, like maintaining a relationship? How do you not cold cut them and move on?
Can I?
Lunch.
Can I? Basically, if I get stuck with a customer, I give it to Rugo.
Yeah.
And Rugo, if he gets stuck with a customer, he gives it to me.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just takes a change in face.
And sometimes
job.
it's actually the approach. You see, they are used to talking to Sajid. And Sajid saying the same thing, this is what. So the moment they see a different face, then it becomes a different conversation. So even sometimes me and him just flip customers around. Oh, Fred, now this customer is not even picking my calls. You talk to them. And funny enough, you find the customer listening to you. So sometimes it's actually the customer just wants to talk to a different face.
But also, and I'll say this, we're in Kenya,
Mm.
but culture, the language Fred speaks, Fred can go and speak Kikuyu with these guys.
Yeah.
Sunil, Fred ataniambia we hii chuti jamaa. Ongea naye.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, hello, Baijan. And it genuinely, we play on our strengths. And there's no
Yes.
shame in the fact that I'm an Indian,
Yeah.
Kenyan salesman, and Fred is Fred your Kikuyu background.
Yeah, it's Kikuyu actually.
Kikuyu. So
Yeah.
Fred goes and answers, even with the Vaites for Meru, Fred anaenda.
Yeah.
So we leverage our strengths.
I remember there is one particular sale we did with Chris and Anu, and they were called Keremara Holding somewhere in Gilfilan House. And so when we went, that MD, it was actually a sale for $400. No, $4,000 actually. So when we went, that guy was talking to me in Kikuyu, and my boss doesn't understand
He's
Kikuyu.
Nigerian.
Yes, and of course he gave me the check. He wrote the contract and everything. And when we came back to the office, my boss said, Rugo is the only one who is allowed to sell in Kikuyu. So sometimes you play on the customer's strengths and what they want. If they want somebody who can talk in their language, they want somebody. It's a question of they want to see this color, they want to see somebody who is tall or white, or
Yeah.
please give it to them.
And as a sales guy, you have to learn to wear many different hats.
Yes.
You have to be in uncomfortable situations. Me, I don't like clubbing and drinking, like Eric. But then I go because Fred is saying there's a customer over there. Me, I don't like playing golf. But we go and fucking learn how to play golf because there are customers over there. You think me and Fred like leaving home? We like chilling with our family and doing things over there.
There's a time this guy dragged me to a casino. I've never been to a casino. And he's so comfortable in that place. They are praying, what. And I'm like, the only thing I liked is giving free wines and some bites. That's the only thing. But we went there for a sale and we got that sale.
You have to be comfortable in uncomfortable position.
Yes.
Sales guys say yes to experience everything because you might have a client that's in the casino, you might have a client that's into sports, you might have a client that's doing different things. You want to be that relatable person to him.
Yeah.
All right? And so us as sales guys, you want to go badminton, Fred knows how to play twende.
Yeah. You just have to adjust yourself to customer situations. If you have a customer that likes to go in a bar, go to the bar. Meet them in the bar.
And his local is not where your local is.
He's local Kibanda, the container bar.
You go, you sit there.
You go and sit there. You might not be very comfortable, but like he said, you have to learn to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations. That's the only way you get to build relationships with customer and be their friends and sell.
Like, how I know some of our customers really like us?
Yes.
Is because Beleni, we used to go and meet them in these places.
Yes.
Sasa tunawachukua Cultiva.
Yes.
We are making them experience these nice places.
Yes.
So it's again, it's a game of numbers, it's a game of relationship, it's a game of wearing many different hats. And I think the ones that stay true to the cause and can commit to it get rewarded. And you always say yes.
Yeah.
I mean, within reason. There's some people who make us do crazy things, but even Fred and I have had very crazy nights in Cape Town,
in different countries. Yeah.
So it's again within limits, within reason, but you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, because even we all have social batteries.
It means you have to go the whole length for the customer. There are no limits when it comes to dealing with customers. You just have to stretch yourself. Sometimes it's not something you want.
Which was that customer? Yani, that guy couldn't stop drinking. I don't know where it was.
We've had
he went through me. He went through you. The only one that survived there was Vincent, who stays with us, and we met them like 7 a.m, and they were still awake. This was in Nigeria or something.
Yeah, we've had enough of those customers, And that customer, I won't mention the customer, but we met him. We had a 10 o'clock meeting with that customer.
Yes. Is that the one he missed?
Yes, that one.
What about this other customer from South Africa?
Yeah, the one we know.
This guy, by the way, I'm not even going to mention him, but he was working for a very powerful company at the time.
Yes.
Okay. And Fred and I were trying to learn that business. So this guy would be like, can you send money to my girlfriend over here? Can you send money to this? We would send money.
5,000.
Then
10,000.
eventually he left the company. Now he's like in a company we are not interested in. So whenever he tells us to do the same thing,
We disappear. Chini ya maji.
Oh man.
Yeah, so sales has been very exciting, bro. The kind of experiences you have when you're interacting with people, there are different people from different cultures, rude, down to earth people, all kinds of people. But the experience is worth it. I think me and Sajid, the last 5 years, I can't tell you which country we haven't gone to.
By the way, even there was a country I was talking about when I traveled with Rugo when I got stuck for 9 hours in East African country.
Man,
I'll say it.
yes,
That was Tanzania.
that was Tanzania.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, from the airport.
Me and him had we had set meetings. We landed at 12. We said, okay, it'll take 2 hours to leave the airport and get into town.
Yeah,
So let's set our first meeting at 2:30.
yeah,
Fred and I land in Dar es Salaam. Okay. 12 o'clock the plane lands. By 12:20 we're out of the airport. Very
Yeah.
smooth process.
yeah.
12:30 the driver picks us up. We stayed in that car 300 meters from the airport for close to 11, I think maybe 10 hours.
10 hours. And I remember at some point,
10 yeah.
3 hours from the airport. So we slept for 3 hours because we were tired, because we had woken up early. Then we wake up and find we are in the same place. We have not moved an inch.
So people that say Tanzania is a superpower, where in Nairobi have you been stuck for traffic that long?
I think, Sajid, when you travel like we have, you realize that home is always the best place.
Every time Fred and I
Every
go,
time we go. By the moment we are finishing like a week, we are like, hey, we want to go back to Nairobi. We want to go back home.
remember the Nigeria airport where you got lost and you started panicking?
My friend.
You know, the thing is, when you land in the Nigeria airport as well, for the guys that haven't traveled,
Yes,
you need to have someone over there because they're going to harass you.
yes.
So the company we work for assigned a company to come and pick us up.
Yeah.
As a Fred had got out from the
I went to a
plane
different
early. So he
tangent.
went to a different place and they started harassing him.
And then everything, it's manual because the systems goes down and they tell you the guy who is coming to fix the system at the airport has to drive all the way from the CBD. So, and I did not know it was actually done that just to get the system down so that guys can do a bit of less money changes hands. Okay, we'll stamp the passport and then you can go. That was it. So when you think home is bad, I think home is very
We
good.
appreciate Kenya, and every time
Yeah.
we land back,
We
we're like,
have a
"Thank
problem
God,
with corruption, but I think we are okay.
we're far good."
Yes.
Any further questions for us, Your Honor?
Those are all I have for now. Thank you so much.
Fred, this
Yeah.
has been an interesting journey.
It is.
Hopefully, to another few more years for us.
I think for us, we are stuck for the longest time.
Yes, bro.
And thank you for finally bringing me here. And
My
of course, for me, finally coming,
Coming.
because I think both of us were very busy.
Yes.
We never had time, but now we have time. You know, the the strange thing is me and Sajid spend most of our day together. But finding time to come for this
Yeah.
podcast was something else. But thank you, Sajid.
No, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Just a small appreciation. 2 of my children told me to say hi to them. I don't know whether this is a mic.
These are both.
Yeah,
Which one?
so-
That one is Rugo's.
Yeah, so Trisha and Gashie, greetings from Dad.
That's awesome. And your dad is a killer. He's the best man I know. He's the best salesman I know. We work very well together.
Yeah.
We've got a lot more to accomplish. Nairobi too, ikifungua you other data centers chunga.
Nairobi too. Watatafuta.
Just run away, please.
Watatafuta. I want to advise you, if you're a data center salesperson,
Yes.
please,
Please. Just
we are coming for your cake. Nairobi 2 opens, my friend.
just be
There will
warned.
be a Rambo in the jungle.
And what I'll do is, guys, I'll link Rugo's details in the description. He's on Instagram.
Yes.
He's on TikTok. He's on LinkedIn. Please
Yes.
do reach out to him if you want guidance. He's always more than willing to help. Yes, Faza.
But I think also, all the sales guys, if you have questions, put them in the comments. We
Yeah.
will have an episode 2.
In fact, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like this would be
yeah.
good.
That's
Just
fine. I think an episode 2 would
have
do
your questions
quite
because
well.
I know
Yeah.
people will enjoy your guys' stories.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they will have more questions.
Yes.
In fact, we can give our
And maybe
stories for traveling.
we can give our stories for traveling as well. I think me and this gentleman, I think we've been in some places and, hey.
Let me just tell you,
That's
the way me and Fred cover for each other.
And sometimes I would travel with this guy and you remember that time we went to an Italian hotel in Mombasa and then a call came from Nairobi,
Which
a
Italian?
bad call, next to the promenade.
You have to remind me. There was...
Somebody said something and I think
I got angry. Oh?
you got angry and then you were there and then you were on phone throughout and the thing is, as much as he was on phone, he was like he would come to my table and say, Fred, and tell the waiter, please add him another white cup. And then he goes and continues ranting. Then he comes back, add him another white cup. So you see, it's so you always have a relation.
Yes.
So he's always looking out for his big brother. He's like, it doesn't matter that I have problems I'm dealing with, but you need to be comfortable.
But
And that's what has brought the best out of us.
I think it's really great traveling with Rugo because we understand each other so well
Yes.
at this point. But my brother, I appreciate you. Thank you for taking the time to come.
Thank you, Sajid.
What we'll do is, guys, as usual, we'll release this episode early for members.
Yes.
The coffee bags that you're seeing over here hopefully will have gone on pre-order right now, so you guys can place your order. The link will be in the description.
Yeah.
Yes, please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next episode of Coffee Pub. Thank you very much for watching.
Thank you.